Good morning all, hope you're doing well. Very much fluctuations this week. Haven't really had any clear direction really. We are risk on, as you can see. We've got quite a lot of green cells up here, so we should see a bit of weakness in the safe havens and some appreciation in your risky assets. So Aussie, Kiwi, they could probably do well because we're risk on, but we'd want to check the individual sentiment for those currency pairs. And we did have a little bit of a decline on the technicals. We were 84 yesterday. We've dumped slightly, and the 24-hour change has slowed down. So it might be that this time tomorrow, this could be potentially be red, and that'll tell us that the bears have given up on their indices basically, and they weren't really sure last couple of weeks and they've held on. So we might have to see them break, which sounds horrible, but they might have to be liquidated. And so we might have to see more moves higher on the indices just to get those guys out of the casino, because essentially they are gambling. And we could probably argue there's probably too many retail traders, so it might just want to push higher just to get them out, really, because they are probably skewing things. They've gone quite long NJ on the daily, and over the course of the week they've gone quite long EU and EJ, EJ and Swiss yen as well, and they've really sold pound yen. it's a bit bonkers that. So yeah, it's a bit weird why they've done that. It might have been to do with the BOE, because Bailey was speaking yesterday. They might have sold pound because of that. I don't know, but it's a big difference in that in those currency pairs, and the sentiment shifted. There's the dump on the Russell. So we did fall quite heavily on the 2000 index. Dow closed negative, but just pretty much where it opened, just fluctuated. Dollar ditto. So it was very nothing really to comment on yesterday for direction. Like I say, we probably might need to pump a little bit, just one more time, and it'll flush those bears out. And nothing to talk about the robot, because we're flat basically. We didn't open up any trades yesterday because there wasn't sufficient movement on the bubbles, and it was likely we were going to get an Aussie USD sell, but we didn't have the trigger because the bubbles didn't deviate enough over time. We would have got out a little bit of profit, but it looks like it's just fluctuating. So there's nothing to comment on there. We'll have to wait again and be patient today. It might be that we don't get any signals. If so, then I apologise, but there isn't anything that I can do. It all depends on the retail herd and their positioning on the dollar, and whatever it's facing, like the pound or the euro, the Aussie, the Kiwi. And we won't be doing the dollar yen as well. It's worth noting, because that's just a bit too risky because of the BOJ. And they're doing a lot of rhetoric right now, and we had a speech from the governor last night, or so I say this morning, and so obviously that's going to impact your yen. So we're not doing dollar yen, but it will depend on waiting for cross dollar to move. So let's look at indices and gold. Let's bring that. Oh no, I didn't want to do that. No, I'm here, aren't I? I just grabbed in my OBS. I think that should be fine. I just changed the display a bit. Should be okay. So gold, they've gone long, so we fell. They shorted, so we rose slightly, and then have gone long, so therefore we fall. And I made that video yesterday about the positioning and the offloading of positions from the net non-coms to the commercials. The commercials will do the bag holding. They'll undergo losses. The net non-coms will then step in and buy, and of course the commercials will sell, and then that's how it works. So it's coming down in order to become a buy. Likewise, it went up to become a sell, right? And that's how it works. I say we were going to probably come up higher, and it's a good place to potentially de-risk, right? 2000, good place to de-risk. Look at that move. It's bonkers. So yeah, they did incredibly well. They were long the net non-coms, and this is a decent place to TP because we knew it had a weekly supply. If you check Discord, you would have seen that technical analysis that I did. And so what will happen is that now the net non-coms, they'll be selling, commercials will be buying, up to a point where the non-coms will want to step in, and then they'll get a good entry. But it might want to fall a little bit more before they step in, right? And that's what I was saying in that video yesterday. It will be a buy. You just have to like be a bit patient. Okay, so that's gold. S&P. No, we're really sideways. So we might see a change in the 24-hour change tomorrow here. This is probably going to be impacted. I think we might go red here, pending that this what happens here. The thing is, we can squeeze them a little bit more because we've still got some room before we get to 20%. When we're below 20%, then it's like a squeeze territory. If we're above 80%, then it's a squeeze territory. Okay, so we've still got a little bit more room before these guys get absolutely destroyed. It looks like they're getting destroyed, right? But there's still more room. They could be more bearish. So you know, we probably might have a little bit more leeway here before they get absolutely destroyed. But like I say, it all depends on what happened here. So if you were trading this and then, you know, you sold, which is what they did here, how long can you hold on to that drawdown? You know, maybe they can. Maybe they've got sufficiently large accounts to hold on, and then they're going to add. So they added short, added short, added short, right? They might do it again. They might add short. If so, boom, that's going to come up to wreck them. All right, so you've got to be careful. And don't forget, you know, you can use this setup to get really good entries as well. You know, we had the crossover here, for example. We had one nearly there. We had like a kiss of the MA there. All these are good entries. Okay, and so that's that. So we're just sideways, but we could maybe squeeze them a bit more. Here's Freddy. And sideways, yeah, we've got a lot more room left in this one before we get to 20%. So potentially up or calm, but it will, like I say, depend here. See, they went long slightly. Look what happens. So what's that? 3, 4, 2, 3. Oh, it's a 200-point move. Yeah, it's a 200-point move on that tiny little nudge. So if they start going long, you know, we can fall. So, you know, they've been adding shorts, but if they start adding long, we can have a little bit of a sudden move like we saw here. So it all depends on what happens here. You can see the reaction on that tiny shift. Boom. So if it happens again, boom. This is why you've got to be really careful. I don't like to trade the Dow Jones. I prefer the S&P. It's just a little bit safer, I suppose, less risky. So be careful. And DAX. So we've got this supply because they went long. Okay. Had a nice respect of it, and another nice respect. And it looked like they went to get paid slightly. If you can see, we made a W. See, can you see that W? W's are normally bearish. Can you see? Hopefully that makes sense. So M's are bullish. Let me just give you an example of an M. I'm not going to. Well, if there is an M there. Boom, 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 boom. Look at that retracement. That's crazy. So that's obviously X, A, B, C, D, buy. And then we had that move there, and then there's a W here. Can you see that W? Anyway, if you need me to explain the M's and W's, let me know, and then I'll happily help. It's all to do with harmonics. There's an M, so that's the D. Can you see the M there? That's a good buy opportunity. But this is potentially a W. Hopefully that makes sense. So not much to say really about the robot. We're just being patient. It might be that we don't get any signals, which would be a bit crazy, but it is what it is. We can't force any trades. We've got our algo. We've got the process that we must stick to. We're waiting for the bubbles to diverge. If they don't diverge, there's no signals today. And just remember to be careful and trade safely. Be careful with the Dow Jones and the S&P and the DAX. And gold was a good one if you caught it. It was a really good trade. And I'll speak to you guys later. We've got a Powell speech, so we need to take note of that. Even though yesterday was like a nothing burger, nothing really materialized out of it, but maybe today's speech will have more impact on the markets.